And welcome to Vashon Island Unitarian Universalist. My name is Kirk Barker. I use he, him pronouns, and I will be your service leader today. If you're visiting, I got to bring it a little closer. Please participate as you feel comfortable. You're invited to stay and introduce yourself in conversation following the service. If you can't tell, I'm a little punky this morning, so excuse me. Our congregation is committed to individual freedom of belief, welcomes diversity, seeks to promote a sense of community, and fosters religion, which enriches spirit. We are a mostly lay-led community, strengthened and enriched by weaving together the voluntary contributions of members and friends. Our community is supported and guided by our minister, Reverend Victoria Poling. As we begin our service, I invite you to please settle into your chair, set your feet flat on the floor. Thank you. If you are comfortable, gently close your eyes. Now, take a couple of breaths to become fully present. Relax and bring your attention into this moment of communal, reflective, and sharing. Thank you. That was reflection, by the way. Jessica?
Good morning, everyone. I'm Jessica Wesch. I'm going to read our land acknowledgement. And before I do that, I wanted to take a minute to tell you why it means so much to me to read this. I'm a physician, and I treat the effects of trauma on the human body. And I see trauma all around us every day. And I believe as a nation and a culture that we are collectively traumatized by colonialism, by slavery, and by our history. As we are all carry trauma from our histories, right? We can also carry a cultural trauma. And that trauma lives in our land. It lives beneath the surface. It flows up through the soles of our feet and affects how we interact and how we live our lives. And so when we make a land acknowledgement, we are acknowledging that collective trauma. We are saying we're going to take a step towards healing by acknowledging it, by feeling it, by sitting with it just for a second. And then that opens up the door for the healing in the way we live our lives in a thoughtful way. So we acknowledge that we are on the traditional homelands of the Squabash Coast Salish Native people. The Puyallup people have lived on and stewarded these lands since the beginning of time and continue to do so today. We recognize that this land acknowledgement is one small step towards true allyship, and we commit to uplifting the voices, experiences, and histories of the indigenous people of this land and beyond.
Thank you, Jessica. So, here's the affirmation. Whoever you are, whomever you love, however you arrived here, you belong here. I'd like to invite Michelle Montgomery up to come forward and light the chalice as I read these words by Connie Simon. Nice. Good. Let us light our chalices together in person and online. With these words, this is the hour, the time has come. Mindful of our responsibility as leaders of this faith and guardians of the living tradition, we call upon the great cloud of witnesses those who came before, who are here now, and those who have yet to come. We seek their presence, love, and support in this place at this hour. We kindle this flame to light their path and call them near as we undertake this sacred work. Thank you. Kim?
Thank you. It's good to see you all today. On behalf of the board of VIUU, I am Kim Kambach. I use she, her pronouns. I have graying brownish hair, a turquoise top on, and behind me is a west-facing window with a view of a small incline and freshly mown grass. I'm the board president and joined by Kirk Barker, our president, our treasurer. He holds the money, so he seems like the president sometimes. Jessica Wesch, member at large. George Butler, who's with us today, our vice president. And Michelle Montgomery is our guest. We appreciate her being here. And our secretary, Kate O'Hare, could not be with us today. But that's our board. Today is all about invitation. So just to fact check, did people get their birthday pencils last week? Okay. Okay, so I'd like to invite all of you that had birthdays in the summer from July through today to please stand and we'll sing happy birthday to you. First-time attendees, you're welcome to stand too if you'd like, and you will also get a birthday pencil. My wonderful helpers will help pass out those pencils. Here we go. Very good. Now, as I begin, I would like to read Hush by Kimberly Quinn Johnson. Hush, someone's calling your name. Can you hear it? Calling you to a past not quite forgotten. Calling us to a future not quite fully imagined. Hush, hush. Somebody's calling our name. What shall we do? So please, here's something we can do. We can rise in body and spirit and sing Wake Now My Senses. It's in your hymnal on page 298. Gary will play it through one time and then we can begin. There were a couple other verses, but they're in 4-point font, so we'll let that go. So that song says it all for me. It invites us to dance with mystery, and the words that you sang give us an invitation into the presence with one another as we seek, as we attempt, and as we struggle to bring hardship to end, and as I turn off this. As we struggle to let conscience guide us, to bring justice to those whose rights are denied, as we struggle to work towards a planet that's transformed by our and as Vashon Island Unitarian Universalists, as we dwell in this place at this time in our lives on this earth, and as we forge a path forward in love, we are called. Libby Stoddard, a Unitarian Universalist theologian, writes, "We gather together. We gather together, which are familiar words to many of us. We're called here not by name, not by special invitation, but we are here, who, walking by the door, we came in, who came anonymously, burdened and borne by our visions, our yearnings, our despairs, and our solitudes. Gather. Called here not by law and not by outer compulsion, but by inward necessity do we come, alone or with others, casual, yet intent, drawing in, drawing toward, drawing near. Together. This is the hardest, the most difficult thing. For within and without this building and this room, we irk, we frustrate, and we anger each other at least as often as we lend or give support. Together is a place, together is a way, together is a focus, an acknowledgement that we are gathered as seekers and we are equal in our seeking. Together is a place, together is a way, together is a focus, an acknowledgement that we who gather are seekers and are equal in our seeking. Those words resonate with me. I'm a seeker. I'm drawn to this place because I want to draw nearer to you and to my own understanding of the spirit of love. And the together part is sometimes very hard when I put my spirit in a place with other seekers. My spirit is tender, as is yours. My spirit is frightened about what surrounds us, as is yours. And as board president, my spirit becomes weary from the bureaucratic confines that define how we do what we do. Keeping spirit enlivened in the midst of those tensions within the operational aspects of running an organization like VIUU can be taxing. So in this moment, with each of us drawn to this place, we will start the journey of 24-25 with board goals. These goals are required by our bylaws. These goals were written by our board at a retreat we had in August. So Kirk and Jessica will read those now, and let's the four of us just come forward. We are not professionals.
Or rehearsed.
So board goal number 1, develop a community support program.
Board number, goal number, and I'll remove this too, is that better? 2, improve communication, increase use of covenant of right relations.
Number 3 is to build community, both within VIUU, such as circle dinners and other internal activities, and with the Vashon community possibly including social justice activities.
And number 4 is to manage resources, including financial resources, people, records, all the things.
So I'll start us out. So the Developing the Community Support Program was a vision that I had back last winter, and you all supported it. We were able to raise enough money through our stewardship campaign that we got above and beyond what it would take to run our organization, offering both of our employees who have, W-2s, both of them good incomes. And so that was really positive for us as a community, because when you have a .25 minister, sometimes you look at all of that, you have to give over here, and you have to give to this, and you have to give to that, and there's transportation, there's all these things that come up that you don't really get a .25 of in your head. You could, well, as a person who doesn't like doing the numbers, that's why we have Kirk, and the Finance Committee, it's hard to weigh that. How do we balance that? One way of balancing that, for me, is knowing that money in isn't just going to pay for a ferry ride. It's going to pay for someone who can help us to understand that we have to have money in our community, and why do we need to give that money within our community. And Victoria has been really good for me in terms of helping me understand, like, giving doesn't necessarily equal getting. Giving doesn't necessarily mean it says VIUU at the bottom of a program or at the bottom of a poster. Giving sometimes means just letting go of the minutia. And sometimes in an organization, when you have all volunteers on your board, on your committees, and so on, the minutia can be overpowering and can get really heavy, and it isn't light, and it's difficult. So finding our balance has been huge, and this community support fund, $6,500, I have a vision that in June, at our last service, that there won't be a penny left in that fund, that it will be gone for this service year. It'll be out there somewhere. How that money gets allocated out there somewhere really isn't, I don't care so much as long as we don't have somebody who embezzles it. And I've been in organizations where that happens. And while we laugh about it, it can happen if there aren't enough backstops, for there to be some honesty and some integrity. But because I have enough trust in people to come forward with what real needs are, and it's us who will come forward with what those needs are. And we will find a way to allocate money. It may all go to one place. It may get allocated out in little bits and pieces. But your board doesn't want to be in charge of it. Your board wants to give it to you as community to figure out. Of course, Kirk will be involved because he'll be writing checks, cutting checks, and he'll be putting addresses in of persons who receive the money, because we have to have a tally sheet, because the state of Washington says as a nonprofit you have to have a tally sheet, as the federal government says you have to have that tally sheet. So those pieces will be in place. But as a board, we don't want to do that. Our ministry, as you know, has a discretionary fund. Maybe you don't know that, but there's a line item. She doesn't come before us and say, I'm giving this money to that person or this person. She does that she really protects confidentiality. I would honor that type of confidentiality, and I feel like she is a person who could be assistive to this committee. So today is that invitation. You already RSVP'd because you're sitting here. But the invitation part is, how can you support more local giving, more giving that doesn't involve, I'm aging myself, but Queen for the Day, where you fill out the best form and you have the best font and it's the worst thing that ever happened and you really need the dryer. It's not that. It's figuring out how do we give money where it will come and go and make a difference. And it may make a difference for someone for a lifetime. It may make a difference for, I don't know, a tank of gas. I don't know. But there you go. That's the vision. And I'd like to introduce Michelle Montgomery. Michelle from Tennessee by way of Memphis, Atlanta, and other places. She is a sorority sister of our next president. And Michelle has an undergraduate degree, I'll probably get it wrong, but in speech and communication and drama and performance. Yeah. And she works with the Community Passageways program as a counselor, a liaison. She sees a lot of need that can happen that comes into the office and so on. And just come up here and give us your... I told her I'd stay up here so I could grab her when she just...
Yeah. Hello. So you've introduced me. I'm going to introduce myself. Reintroduce. And I won't be before you long. This will surmise for you I am. I am Michelle Antoinette Montgomery. My name is long and strong like my lineage, from fields of cotton, my mama, to the realization of dreams, overcoming bigotry, ignorance, miseducation, and years of pain. And yet it is as sweet as the blood that once dripped from lynching trees, and that now runneth into my cup. So come on, y'all, take a sip, take a drink. You may be surprised at what you taste. For sometimes a drink that is bitter to the taste, it can be so very sweet in the end. So I came to Seattle 4 years ago with plans of just starting a new life. And that life led me to working in CP. I've been doing case management for years. I'm 57 years old. So I did it in Tennessee. Department of Children's Services, Abuse and Neglect, Foster Care. Went on to MIFA, which is the Metropolitan Interfaith Association in Memphis. I was laid off from my job there. The mayor decided that he was going to eradicate homelessness, and he got rid of different positions. I was laid off for quite a while. I ended up couch surfing. I didn't have a home. Not used to that. And then once I moved to Seattle, I decided that I was no longer going to live in a friend's house who invited me here, whose boyfriend was abusive. She knows me. She should have known better than that. So I chose to go to a homeless camp on my own. And everybody thought I was crazy. But I will not live anywhere where a woman is being abused. And she decided not to go with me, but that was her choice. So the pandemic hit. I was there for longer than the 6 months, and I originally thought I was there for 2 years. But then after I got past the depression, and I asked God, Allah, Jehovah, whatever you want to call it, I call it Spirit, tell me why I'm here. And he said, you've been working with people all this time, guess what? Now you get to live with them. I saw people do things that I have only seen in television shows. But I also learned how to love the very people that I used to work for and with as I lived with them, and I still know some of them today. They live in my apartment building. One thing led to another, and when COVID was over, quote unquote, and I began applying for jobs, I applied for a job at Mercy Housing. It was wonderful. But then a friend introduced me in his own special way. His pen. Elijah introduced me to Community Passageways, and I got a call. CP is an organization that works with young people who've been affected by gun violence. I'm gonna say it one more time. Young people who have been affected by gun violence. I work down the street from Garfield High School. One of my closest friends at work, his name is Jabari. And when you know it, we were all attending a gun violence conference. And Jabari was there by himself in the middle of the day with his safety gear on to make sure that the children were safe as they were going to lunch, to wave and to say hello. And then the safety team got a call. And then on my personal cell phone, I got a call, and all it said was, Michelle, he did. Jabari is from California. He does not have family, neither do I. So he is my family. And I went. To be there with him in that moment and to know that he was there for a purpose and a reason, which was to keep the other children calm. And that's what we do. We're there for the people that you don't read about in the newspaper. You may see many who are affected by gun violence, but you have no idea how many we keep out of it. And I see it every single day. They come in, they're smiling, they're happy. School just started. I couldn't wait to see the babies on the first day of school. I could not wait to see, and I call them the babies. I'm from the South, I can't help it. On the first day of school. And there's so much promise that people don't want to write about. People only want to write about the bad. But I promise you, there's good. And just like I woke up this morning, I read through what was going to happen today and what songs we're going to sing, and I decided to pull up some music, and I was sitting on Kim's porch, and all I kept thinking was, "Ooh, I'm kind of loud, y'all," especially when I praise. And hush, somebody's calling my name. And I heard my grandmama Luanna Cannon, and she said, "Baby, are you sitting in the garden? Are those some sheep? Is that your dog running around?" My grandmother has been gone for quite a while, and she was a sharecropper. But just like the last time that I was here, I asked for my ancestors to come to me and to tell me what to do and what to say. So I thank you for that. I thank you for that. They stand with me in this room right now the very same way that they stood with me in a homeless camp for 2 years when I didn't think that I would be able to make it. And my grandmother reminded me, "Baby, you remember those years when I didn't have a bathroom inside and I had an outhouse? You can do this. We bred you for this." So I thank you. I thank you for allowing a strange woman that you don't know to walk in your front yard last night and to smell roses. I thank you for that. So I want you to remember that everything and everyone is connected. And whether you're on Vashon Island or you go somewhere else, when you see someone on the street, I want you to do something that a lot of people in Seattle have forgotten how to do. You don't have to have conversation, but I do want you to smile and greet them. Just nod your head. You never know how that can save someone's day. And when you see a child that's black or brown, and they may come from circumstances that their mother and father brought them into the world under such circumstances, the mother and father did their job, because their only job, when you only think about it, is to bring a child into the world. But it is each one of our responsibilities to feed something into that child. So I'm learning my job. But I know how to love. And I guarantee that until I leave Earth, hopefully it won't be before I retire from community passageways, that I'm gonna love up on every single baby that I see. So, whatever it is that you choose to do it with love. Don't do it because you think you got to. And it sure ain't gonna get you into heaven. It's your soul that speaks. So right now, just hush. Hush. It's my grandmother talking to me. Somebody's calling my name. She said, hush, hush, be quiet. Somebody's calling my name. I thank my daddy for standing in the back. I thank my mama for standing here beside me. Somebody's calling my name. My name is Michelle Antoinette Montgomery, and I thank Elijah Lewis, who is no longer here, but is standing over to the right, laughing and smiling. I thank him for bringing me to community passageways. I thank you for your time. I'm just gonna walk outside because I get to crying and clapping, so.
Powerful stuff. Wow. So, I am going to speak a little bit, take a little bit of time to speak to the fourth board goal of managing resources. It's primarily about finances. So, in regards to managing resources, our board has a fiduciary responsibility to our beloved members of VIUU. And that is to wisely manage the community property and resources which the congregation has entrusted us with. We don't take this responsibility lightly. I believe our collective efforts help make VIUU, our collective efforts, help make VIUU a safer, stronger, healthier place to be. Personally, as your treasurer, I make sure the accounting of our financial resources is done promptly and accurately through the use of our financial spreadsheet. And as I was sitting here, I think I'd like to, in Runa in the back, I don't know if I could send that to you on a monthly basis. You could take a snapshot of it and include it as a link on the newsletter. Yeah, okay. Better write that down after I'm done here to remember. I seek this help from our finance committee when we meet regularly to discuss how to revise the congregation's financial policies and procedures, budget formulation, and the fun topics concerning VIUU resources. One of our finance committee members is back there, Gary Preston, who was the treasurer for a long time here. We have Pam Gott, yeah, and Melvin Mackey. Yeah. Well, take time at least once a month to meet and discuss these matters. Two of the board goals we agreed upon for this coming year at our last meeting, or actually the retreat, concerning money management are, one, investing a portion of the money which is sitting in the non-interest-bearing checking account, got a good amount there. We want it invested into a safe investment vehicle, which will earn interest over a period of time. Yeah, we want to take that. We do have enough resources. We'll make sure that we have enough money left over to pay our bills, obviously. And then two, encourage pledgers to use monthly automatic bill pay instead of handwriting checks to pay towards their pledges. I'm the handwriting check type of guy, but if you can contact your bank. I'm not exactly sure how this is done, but your bank communicates with PSCCU, our bank, And you can do it automatically, and that pays promptly and on time, and we have access to those resources a little more quickly. Good. Yes.
Is that gonna be in the newsletter, how to do that also?
We'll work on that, yes. Yeah. I'll find out. I'll find out from PSCCU, I'll call them. I've got a personal connection there, Sandy. So, I talk to her often. The board and I invite you, the congregation, to come up with further suggestions on how best to manage our resources. So that's an open invitation to you. If you have any ideas, we will value those ideas. And that's all I have. Pass it on to Jessica.
Hi, everybody. I am here to talk a little bit about the goal of building community. And some of you know, but I'm fresh off Burning Man. This is oh yeah. I mean, I love being a Unitarian because you can talk about Burning Man and what it means. But so, you know, at Burning Man, we have anywhere from 88,000 to 70,000 people who join in revelry and ritual in kind of an anarchistic sort of way, which is something I think we as human beings need. We need revelry, we need ritual, we need community. And we as Unitarians have these principles that guide us in how we live, and we can, what I hope to see is that we can come together more often in revelry and community around these principles and how we incorporate them into our lives and our relationships with each other. So one of the things that some of you know about this, but we have a women's group, and all female identified members of the community are welcome, and we're looking for someone to host that. I've done it for many years, and Jackie has done it for many years, and we want to see that keep going. We have the men's group, and they're loosely organized, but they make it happen every month. And so we also have circle dinners, and those are such a joy. And so we want folks to engage in hosting one or putting one on, and that's just a great way to connect. And so we're looking to build that community. And I want to hear from all of you. What feels like community to you? What are some of the ways that we can do that and support that? So there we go. That's what I've got. Sweet and simple, revel, ritual, community. And part of why I come here is because those needs are met here. So I'm invested in making sure that that continues to be here for all of us. So there we go.
So that's a brief look at our goals for 24-25, and we'll be inviting you daily in your newsletter and on our website, and maybe even sending you texts or emails. And your story matters, your wisdom matters, your past experiences matter. And the more that we share those, the less we stay siloed, the more we give out what was in that silo: heart, love, spirit, experience, knowledge, wisdom, all those things. The more we give those out, the stronger they become. And the more connected we are to one another, the stronger we are with one another here, the stronger we'll be out there. So thank you so much for listening. And that's all I have for right now, but we are going to rise and sing. Now Let Us Sing, which is on page 368. And Gary will play it through once, and it's got a lot of flats, so know that there'll be a few boo-boos.
Good luck, Gary.
Good luck, Gary.
You can do it.
368. We'll continue to work on that one. There's no standard yet. Anyway, yeah, we are. So Jessica is now going to lead us into our joys and concerns.
So we're now going to pause the recording as we prepare.